Doctor Who, Christmas of the Squid. Chapter 2, The Doctor, the Rose, and the Squid.
Spit it out,
the Doctor said sternly. The Squid shook his head and kept backing away from the Doctor.
I need it. Just gimme.
The Doctor grasped at the letter hanging out of Squid's mouth, but Squid leapt back before he could get it. The Doctor lunged at Squid. Rose watched the writhing mass that was the battle between Time Lord and Squid. She couldn't help but feel fascinated by the raw power on display. The Doctor like a mighty lion as he pulled on Squid's tentacles, causing him to scream. The Doctor took the opportunity to yank the creased and spit-covered note out of the creature's mouth. The defeated Squid glared at the Doctor for a moment before fleeing. Rose watched him scamper off to the kitchen.
Let's hope this will solve the mystery for Squid,
said the Doctor, who was quickly fixing his hair. Jackie had gone to the toilet, so she won't be in this chapter. Mickey was somewhere. Finally satisfied with his hair, the Doctor turned his attention to the note.
What does it say, Doctor?
Asked Rose, who couldn't read. The Doctor turned pale.
But that's impossible.
He looked up from the note.
It says, Rose, please look after this Squid. The safety of the universe depends on it. Ta. But that's not even the impossible part,
explained the Doctor.
The impossible part is that this note is written in my handwriting,
announced the Doctor dramatically.
And since I didn't write this note or wrap up a Squid, it must be from a future me,
he added.
Why would you send me a Squid?
Asked Rose.
Well, I suppose I know how great and smart and compassionate you are. How the world runs on your beauty and your bum could turn the head of the universe. Clearly I only trusted this mission to you, Rose Tyler. Rose Tyler.
Rose's mouth hung open, taken aback by the majesty and poetry of the Doctor's words. Mickey, who was in the room, got up and stabbed the Doctor with a sharp pair of scissors. But only in his imagination. In reality, he continued playing with his socks. The Doctor and Rose followed Squid into the kitchen, where he was busy shoving bread into his mouth.
Hello,
said Rose as she approached him.
My name is Rose. Can you understand me?
She held out her hand. Squid took it, shaking it for a moment, before placing a slice of bread in it. He said. The Doctor watched this exchange with narrowed eyes. He watched Rose giggle as the Squid gave her bread, and then they just watched each other, stood and stared at each other eating bread. It was clear to the Doctor what was happening. Squid was interested in Rose, and trying to move in on his territory. The Doctor knew what he had to do, and he snatched 3 slices of bread. He turned to Squid, raised an eyebrow, and then shoved all 3 into his mouth.
Look at how much bread I can eat,
he said through a mouthful of bread, hoping to impress Rose. He added to this display by placing his hands on his hips, doing a slight pelvic thrust, and pouting. Unfortunately, his mouth was so full of bread that this pout produced dribble, which rolled down his chin and onto his tie. He hoped he could pull that off as sexy. Squid froze, and his eyes widened at this mighty display of bread eating. Rose watched them both with narrowed eyes. She watched as the Doctor showed off to this Squid, and the Squid lapped it up, loving his sexy bread eating, which she couldn't fully appreciate because she was so angry. The Doctor was flirting with Squid, and Squid was clearly interested. Rose knew what she had to do. The only mature thing to do was to make the Doctor feel as jealous as she did.
You got another slice for me, fella?
She asked Squid, huddling up next to him and running a finger down his face. Squid looked worried and offered her a slice, hoping she would go away. She took it and slowly put it between her lips.
Yummy,
she said, rubbing the remaining half of the bread over her face and winking at Squid.
You know, you've a very impressive body. You may be a Squid, but you're 100% handsome man. Did you work out or something?
She asked Squid, subtly glancing at the Doctor to see his reaction. The Doctor began to shake violently as Rose played with Squid's tentacles, giggling all the way. As they got closer and closer, grasping at him and rubbing themselves, Squid watched these two strange people with narrowed eyes. It was clear to Squid what was happening. They were both after his bread. Squid knew what he had to do. Screamed Squid, grabbing the bag of bread and jumping up onto the kitchen counter. Rose followed him, still grabbing at any part of him within reach, tugging at his sleeve or snatching at his shoe. The doctor crowded in as well, running his hands over his own chest seductively, and shouting that soon he would eat 8 slices of bread at once. At this moment, Jackie appeared in the doorway, returned from the toilet.
What are you playing at?
She yelled.
Fighting at Christmas? That's disgraceful, that's what that is.
She said, crossing her arms. The doctor, the Squid and the Rose all looked to the ground shamefully, humbled by Jackie's words. They knew they had forgotten the Christmas spirit.
Oh, come on, you lot, let's play Trivial Pursuit,
she said. The group all nodded their heads at each other, ready to drop old rivalries in the spirit of Christmas board games. And so they walked out of the kitchen and into the living room, passing Mickey as they went, who was busy repairing the circuitry in his arm.
We don't know your way, Squid, or what that means or anything, but I'm glad you're here with us at Christmas,
said Rose, as they settled down to play Trivial Pursuit. Said Squid as he smiled. He was a bit confused, but he thought it best to smile at the crazy lady before she started stroking him again. Just outside the flat, Synthetic Mickey was standing watching the stars in the sky, and the ash/snow drifting by.
The squid has been located,
he announced to no one in particular, before closing the hatch on his arm and clenching his synthetic fist. Ooh, cliffhanger.